Or can they help put on their video?
This call is now being recorded.
So everyone should please turn on their videos. That's the rule. We already know that. Videos should be on and you are properly dressed. Find the best place to sit so that you represent yourself well. You're a CEO.
Okay, let's quickly all do that so we can go ahead. I'm going to add this into the meeting. Grace, it's okay. Joshua, Precious, I need you guys to be compliant. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen right now. So confirm that you can see my shared screen. You should be seeing a white screen on your end right now. Just confirm. And I need you guys to be talking because we'll try and make this class as interactive as is possible. So I'll need you to be able to speak. So yeah, let's take the next 5-10 minutes to have each one just take a minute to tell me about their business. In no particular order, from I think how you appear on my screen. I'll start with Precious. Just take a minute. You have a minute.
Ms. Precious, your mic is muted. Please kindly unmute your mic for speaking. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, good day, everyone. Sorry for that. Good morning, sir. My name is Precious Unoka, the co-founder of Samba AgroConnect, and our platform is an e-commerce platform that helps connect smallholder farmers to their potential customer. That's basically
Smallholder farmers with a potential customer. Great. Okay. The next person there would then be Joshua Iboku.
Good day, sir. Please, I didn't get the question well because the network wasn't really
A minute,
clear
just tell me about your business in a minute.
Okay. Good day, everyone. My name is Joshua Ibukun. Currently, before this class, the name of my business is Podret Enterprise. We're into construction and real estate. We provide top-notch services with affordable delivery rates and also help people scale up or build investment portfolio through real estate.
Okay. Chukwu Eku.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. My name is Onyutejkweku Charles. I'm the founder of Tox System and Solutions Limited. We are into agribusiness. Our job is to work along a palm oil value chain. Our work has to do with taking agri raw products, add value to it, and distribute them. We do last mile delivery. Then also we're into with this Agri-Tech initiative. we're trying to create solutions that help farmers and also those who are along the agri-business value chain to create records for their business, create tracks, that is sort of trace for them to easily track their product and be able to text and know where their customers are, and have sort of a route plan. I say we're creating a route plan, a route plan for agribusinesses. Thank you.
Okay. The next person would then be Grace.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Grace Obeto, and I'm the co-founder of Nikos Global Innovative Services Limited. We're actually a licensed representative of MoneyPoints, where we render MoneyPoint services, like we give out MoneyPoint loans, MoneyPoint POS, money book, and everything related to finance. We're also into the business support plans. We help businesses like SMEs make their business to be structured, like the bookkeeping and every other thing that's relating to SMEs. We also assist the diaspora who needs trusted services over here in Nigeria. We help them have a structured business while they are over there. So we act like a trusted bridge between diasporas and like local SMEs. Then we also do online tutoring where we assist secondary school students. For now, we work with the sciences. We assist secondary school students to pass their exams, SSC, which is NECO, JAMB, and WAEC. Then also we also render services like online tutoring to diasporas too, which is the AQA and the IGS. We prepare them to pass their exams. That's basically what we do. Thank you.
Okay, so the last person I'm seeing on my screen now will be Isoke.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Okay, my business is about like creating a platform for. Okay, the business I currently work with is like Gifted Effects Media, whereby I am able to like help work with businesses and individuals create online presence for them. That's basically what I do.
Okay, good, great. So we will learn some lessons from this conversation, as well as we would, get to learn a bit better what we want to cover within today's conversation, right? So today's conversation is bordered around two major things. One, it is going to help you understand your customer segment. And in understanding your customer segment with respect to business model canvas, it is going to help you also to, so once you understand it, two, it is preparing for conversation. Right? And then three is the conversation with customers. Right? And then, you get to understand how to collect insights. And then on the other end, we then look at the aspect of market analysis. So under market analysis, what we're going to cover here, you're going to then understand what is TAM, what is sum? No, second will be sum. And what is sum? Well, before I begin to, go into market analysis, I see a first problem, right? And one thing you should learn as entrepreneurs is that, well, we are master or we're skilled at seeing problems so we can create solutions to those problems that we've seen. And the problem I've seen in a nutshell is that I realized that for a good number of people on the call, or for almost everyone, I cannot lay a finger on what is your actual business. Right? I cannot lay a finger on what's your actual business because for a good number of you, you do multiple businesses. And from each of the multiple businesses, it gets me confused as to what is actually your business that we're discussing in this conversation. And when you want to deal with clients or deal with customers, you must be able to lock down a particular business that you want to transact with that particular customer. Because if you are not able to lock down and clearly define the specific business you are transacting with a particular customer, you can as well not be in business. You could as well be a hustler. I think I understand that when we came in to this particular training cohort, the training was meant to be bordered around solving problems around Agri-Tech. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if that is correct and my understanding is still very much accurate, so I want each one of us to go back again for a minute and tell me what exact Agri-Tech solution you are doing as a business. Whatever you do by the side is not in focus at this point in time. What should be in focus is that one business solution that you are doing around Agri-Tech. Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because most times when you are talking to some potential business funders or partners, the moment you mention your business that you're undertaking and they seem to feel that you are all over the place, it's a turn off, right? For people who want to support your businesses. You could do 100 things. That's not the problem. But you cannot be presenting 100 things at once as what you do. You must be able to present it one at a time so that people know how to deal, right? So in this conversation, what you may not know, in between when we met on Monday, I had to come into Lagos on Tuesday, and I'm doing work for my office, and that is purely around heritage management. But in all our conversation, you may never have heard me talk about heritage management, have you? Right? So what I have
No,
put in
sir.
focus is the fact that I have, on the side, run a social enterprise focus on self development, and that's what you need to know because I don't have to get you confused. The moment you pitched me too many businesses in one conversation, now I'm genuinely confused, right? So we'll go back again. So Precious, tell me in clear terms what agribusiness problem you are trying to solve.
Okay, good day, everyone. This is Precious Unoka, and I'm a co-founder of Samba Connect, an e-commerce platform that helps smallholder farmers to reach their potential customers via our platform. That's it.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I'm done, sir.
No, e-commerce for smallholder farmers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Joshua.
Good day, everyone. Okay, the problem I'm trying to solve for agro-business sector is the coaching distribution, which is creating waste to waste to energy through the waste of the farmers, converting it to energy that can create a cooling atmosphere for their product to have a long shelf life, which can be either stationed or mobile, depending on the region and the request of the people around that region.
Okay. Chuku.
Okay, sir. Okay. On our part, we understand the issues of post-harvest losses, then fragmented supply chains and poor infrastructure. Then another thing is the lack of traceability and inconsistent quality standards. So what we are trying to create is we're trying to create a digital traceability system for local distributions network.
Sorry, come again with that. I don't fully understand.
Okay, in the agro sector, there's this issue of post-harvest losses. Okay, then also farmers are not able to come to market, remarket with normal products in quantity. So it's sort of fragmented because each holder is trying to produce more. Because of that, they don't find good market for their products. And also the issue of poor infrastructure and lack of traceability. They cannot explain how their product goes from each stage to the other. Then there's which leads to inconsistent standard. So for that reason, they're not able to get access to export market and all that. Though these products are there, and the next thing they get spoiled. So what we're trying to create is we're trying to create a digital dashboard or a digital platform that can connect them, sort of a network, a distribution network that will help them to showcase their product. And from the back end too, they will have records. So you set up a aggregation points where they can easily input their data when they have products. It allows for easy collation and brings their face up to market. Thank you.
So you're basically running a digital marketplace for farmers. Grace? You're muted.
Okay, the solution I'm trying to bring it to create like a platform to reduce the middleman exploitation. That's to have for farmers and buyers to have direct access, and also to give them financial visibility. That's for the farmers. So in turn, they'll be able to access loans and have a better structure in terms of assessing loans and other things they are supposed to assess as SMEs or farmers.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay, the solution I'm trying to create as a business person is to try to create a platform whereby farmers or business owners have access to online presence whereby they are able to meet their clients, their targeted clients or customers.
Okay. Are there people who are coming late that we've not captured their businesses? Well, next time come and to class. So we'll use these ones as reference to, understand how you begin to prepare the conversation for your customer segment, right? So you will notice one thing with this exercise we just did, trying to take your business or what you do from a place of not being clear, right, to a point of clarity. Right? So we will call this for lack of a better word, unclear clarity. You see, one of the most important things you must know about your business is that if you are not clear about what your business is, you will not only end up confusing your customers, you too will not be able to measure whether or not you are succeeding in your business. And until what you are trying to do as a business is clear enough to you that you can communicate it in very simple languages to the layers of people, right, you are not effectively in business. Because what then happens is that you don't understand clearly what you want to say to the market don't understand clearly what you are trying to say to them. That confusion will lead you to not being able to sell and your customer not knowing that you are there. So you may be online making a lot of noise, trying to get people to buy from you, but people are online generally confused as to what you actually do for your business. You could be trying to get people to pick up finances that will help improve their businesses, but then the people who want to give money for those businesses are genuinely confused as to what problem the businesses are trying to solve, and so therefore they are not willing to let go of their finances to support those businesses. So you see, one way or the other, we must now then create a balance that can help you sort out your business issues very well as we can communicate it. So we'll go to the first thing, right, which is understanding and your demography. And one of the things I've tried to do here in this documentation with you now, so just see how I've been able to reframe what each of your business is about in very simple terms. So Precious, for you, what you are trying to do is an e-commerce platform for smallholder farmers, right? That helps them to, either buy or sell on the platform, basically. For Joshua, what you are more concerned about, I would just pick your cold chain storage solution, right, for agri-businesses, effectively minimizing waste of farm produce in between harvest and sales, right? Reducing post-harvest losses. For Chuku, what I would say you are trying to do is to serve as a digital middleman and have a digital market space for people to buy and sell easily, right? Because people who have maybe small farms and really cannot aggregate so much quantity to sell to a major supplier or to a major off-taker, you want them to be able to aggregate or sell directly to their retail customers. For Grace, what you are simply doing is easing access to finance for farmers, right? Whether you are doing with Money Point or you are doing with any other platform. So basically, you are trying to get more farmers to get access to funding for them to be able to do their business more effectively. For Isoke, what you are basically doing is to serve as a digital amplifier for farmers, having a digital market space where you can market their products. So basically, you are like an ad agency, but for digital, for businesses. Now, you see the way the narrative has shifted from you trying to explain to me the problem, me trying to communicate clearly what the solution you are trying to sell to people are basically, right? And that is how your business is supposed to be communicated for people to understand what is it that you are trying to do, right? And for that to work, the first thing that you typically have to do is that you typically have to, one, right, understand who's your customer. Because if you don't understand who's your customer, you can be selling to anybody, right? And that's not the aim of what you want to do. Because the person that that Precious is selling to and the person that Grace is selling to are slightly different, right? So we just write here now, who is your customer? So in one word, Precious, who is your customer in this case?
Okay, my potential customers are smallholder farmers.
Okay, smallholder farmers. Okay, so erase this. Good. Then for you, Joshua, who are your customers?
Okay, my customers are farmers and vendors that need to cool their products to avoid loss and also convert their waste to energy in the process.
Right, in need of cold storage, right? Then Chuku, who would you say are your customers?
Okay. My customers are local farmers who we upgrade from. Then on the other end, I have restaurants and hotels too. Then supermarkets too who need our products too.
Right? I would then say B2B or yes. So you're basically on one end, you're getting from the farmer, you're selling to business, business to business, right?
Yes, sir.
B2B is a model, just so you don't mistake what I'm trying to do here. I just want to envelope it, right? Mhm. You know what? Let me even make it easier for you. Let me classify it very well. It will become confusing. So I'll classify them to be retail off-takers, right? So off-takers, but buying a small quantity, basically. Grace, who would you say are your customers?
Okay, my customers are poultry farmers because I'm focusing mainly on poultry. Then that's the primary, my primary customers. Then my secondary customers, I would say, restaurants, hotels, then bakeries, because we supply
Okay,
them eggs and other things. So I have primary customers as poultry farmers, and my secondary customers are hotels and the likes.
livestock farmers, and then retail off-takers. Good. And then for, it's okay?
Okay, my customers are basically farmers, both large scale or small scale farmers who do not have access to digital platform whereby they can market their products or service to get to their target audience or customers.
Good. Now, in defining who your customer is the first thing to help you then know how you package your product for them, right? That's the first point, to know how you package your product for them. But, understanding your farmer goes into a couple of things. So clearly understand who your customers are. You must take into consideration what we call number one, right, is what are the demography of these people? Right? You must first understand their demographic distribution, right? And in understanding the demographic distribution, you understand this in terms of their age, right? In terms of their status, civil status, basically. In terms of their, well, so age status, but status could then go down into economic value, how much do they earn, where do they work, that kind of thing, right? So demography is one way to really understand who these your customers are. Number two is geography. Their geographic distribution, right? Are these people rural? Are they semi-urban? Or are they purely urban? You must define these things, because if you don't define this, you won't truly know how and where to target them. Because one end of your customer is in a remote rural location, and another end of your customer is in an urban upscale environment. How you talk to them are different. How you get them to understand what you are trying to sell are different. And how you communicate the value that they will get at the end of the day from transacting with you are different. So therefore, you must then seek to understand what is that geographic distribution. The next thing you're going to look at is what we call their psycho. If I spell psychographic wrong, you're going to forgive me. Even this English not be our language. Right? The psychographic distribution is also very important, right? And in psychographic distribution, you want to understand their religion, right? You want to understand their core beliefs, right? And you want to understand their, you know, um, yeah, we want to say class, but you're dealing with farmers. This may not really applies in a very large extent, right? And these three parameters, demographic, psychographic, are some of the key areas that you must now use, right, to understand them. How do they behave? I remember the last time when we were talking in the class, I had mentioned that I was working with a startup who wants to invariably reduce post-harvest losses in tomato production by ensuring that the guys who farm tomatoes have cold storage solutions in between that increase the shelf life of the tomatoes from the farm to the last resale end of the whole value chain, right? And they seem to forget that selling to the open market, they're already at a disadvantage because people who go to the open market already know that they may get tomatoes that is not very fresh, right? And in fact, on the worst end spectrum of the open market is that you may get tomatoes that are rotten and people want to still buy that, not understanding the health implications. So it means that if you are not trying to market if always fresh tomatoes, whole bulbs, in the market, open marketplace, you're already losing money because you're going to waste money on marketing, what people don't want. You're going to waste money on packaging, what people don't want. You're selling to the wrong crowd, right? And that's because you need to understand their buying behavior. And the psychography talks about their buying behavior. How do they think, right? I don't want to draw any racial slur. I would have used some racial examples, to further buttress this point. But you can tell that certain people from certain part of the country in Nigeria have different understanding of what cleanliness means, right? So most time when I go to buy fresh farm produce, tomatoes, pepper, onions in the market, and I'm busy talking to the market person, I'm saying, make sure these tomatoes never break, or make sure say not press, so they're like, okay. But one way or the other, they always find a way to sneak in bad tomatoes into my purchase pack, right? And at times when you now look at it and you feel it, it may just be a small smudge on the tomatoes, right? Or maybe a small cut on the tomatoes. But initially to get angry. But later, I now go to realize that for this person, tomatoes may don't break, that one may don't almost flat finish. To me, even a slight dent on that tomatoes is already not a no-go for me. So what I started doing is that once I get to the market, I will just say, okay, you know me, I have customers. I will start touching the tomatoes and selecting them apart. And I only go to buy from my customers because they know me well enough to allow me to do that. And I cannot do that on a random customer. If not, the beginning market women they go use that to chase me for market, right? But that will tell you that the way people think are different, sorry. And if you do not understand that people think differently in how, just give me a minute. I'm not talking about thank you. Yeah. Okay, sorry guys for the breaking transmission. Okay, so as I was saying, you then realize that people think differently from the way you think. And because people think differently from you, you don't expect them to react the same way. So it's the reason why you must understand the demography of the people. Where do they stay? What are their age? If you are dealing with older farmers, 50 and above, and then you use the technology, do they think putting their business on the internet is relevant to them? But if you're 20, between the age of 20 and 35, they can a bit understand, why they may want to put their business on the internet, right, and reach more people. You understand? Then, if you are dealing with people who are in a rural environment and you are selling internet to them, they don't have lights or internet. It's strange, right? So, except you want to be going to snap their produce and posting it online, and once in a while go to them and show them by yourself, it's almost useless to them what you're trying to sell, right? So how you sell become important. And then if you're not dealing with the core urban dwellers, but who farm, right? And then you are trying to sell a digital solution to their businesses and it's not making sense. It's not sophisticated enough. They're looking at it like, what do you think? You think I cannot use WhatsApp, or you think I cannot use Instagram? They are coming to me with this, badly thought of product or business to try and support me, right? So you must understand who they are in their current social dynamics for you to be able to settle them properly. Now, by the time you then answer the question of who your customers are in relation to their, what's it called now, to how they like the things that they want to purchase from you or do business with you, how they basically communicate, the next thing you then do is to prepare for the conversation. And in preparing for the conversation, this is what you do in going to your client, right? Do you want to have a prototype? Of what you are trying to do? So for example, you have an e-commerce platform and you want to have them put their product on the e-commerce platform. You want to be able to show them the e-commerce platform to say, oh, these are the people I already have. So you can the product they put. Look, this is how people are buying from them. So that they can see that there is traction in what you are doing, and there's a likelihood that if they subscribe to what you are trying to sell to them, there's a high chance that their own product will do as well as this other product that you're showing them is doing, or even do better. But if you then get there and you're talking to them and you're just speaking and you're talking all the sweet English you've learned, front end, back end, UI, UX, quick response time, no delay, I'm like, okay, Lamba. When you are done talking, you go move, right? Because I cannot see what you're trying to say to me. It's very abstract. I can't draw a relationship between what you are saying and what you want me to do, because I've been in business for a while. Why do I need you? Right? So you may want to have a prototype if your what's it called requires a prototype. Now, for some people, you may want to have a writing material. But I can see that some people in this class don't have writing material. They're not even in the posture of writing. So it means that half the thing I'm saying in this class will be lost to long-term memory. Right? And one of the things my dad used to quarrel about when I was younger, it will always end with this parable. A short pencil is better than a long-term memory. Right? Write it down. So it's the reason why I chose to also write down for people to see. Because by the time I'm done with this class, this become my class map for teaching this particular conversation. And if I want to reference you back to what I taught in class today, I simply pull up my class map and walk you through from how we started, right? So also it's supposed to be for you too when you are going to people. You want to write down important information. It's never too late to say, okay, wait first. can I record? If you are going to record video or photo, always ask for permission, which brings me to the third one, right? I rather call it a recording device, right? Because your recording device could be your smartphone, it could be a camera, it could be as simple as a voice recorder, right? Anyone that solves the problem for you in that particular time and space that you need to do transaction, right? Works, basically. So you must be able to note down the things that are most important in the conversations you are having with the people. If you are not able to note down what you're having with them, what do you come back with to adjust? How do you go back to them to say, oh, I heard you say A, B, and C the last time, and so therefore I have now come with X, Y, Z for going forward, right? So you either have a prototype handy to show them what you've done or what can be done if they work with you. You have a writing material to take down important information that are passing across to you as you guys converse. And then you have a recording device if the conversation is lengthy. So at times when I go into discovery meetings with my clients, I always take my phone and I do a voice record. Once the voice record is done, I do a transcription. Once the discussion is out, I take it to my AI and prepare a meeting brief, right? So that I'm able to clearly articulate what the client has told me, right? What we need to do, which are the next steps and recommendations. Structured. It's very important. But then, when you then actually go to converse with your customers, the conversations can happen in many different ways, right? So in conversing with your customer, the conversation can happen face to face. And that's in a case where, you are talking to a small group of people, right? Say, for example, now, you guys are my customer. Right now, you are consuming the knowledge I have to offer, right, at this point in time. But this is a class size of 10. I will not teach you one-on-one. Because if I'm going to spend 2 hours to do this month to teach this class, if I teach you one-on-one, I'm going to spend 20 hours teaching the same class, 2 of us. So it's not effective to teach you the same thing, the same topic, one-on-one. So likewise, if I'm there to sit down with you to have a coaching or a mentorship session with you, it may not make sense to do it as a group. Except you are in an exactly the same business, right? If I'm coaching you on your business or mentoring on your business, I must do it with you individually because I must take into consideration your specific peculiarity on your business. It must be very specific. Because if it's not so, what that happens is that, the person who is the most dominant conversationalist at that point in time in that meeting will take the center stage. And there's a likelihood that person's questions will be answered, and the person who's more conservative will not be able to air his or her own opinion or submit his or her own problems, and then we cannot find answer to their problems. Someone else may not know how to articulate their points, and you may need to help them articulate their points. But if you're having a general conversation, you can easily miss those kind of people, right? Just like this class now, some people came in late, so we could not capture what their businesses are. So when we are giving a report tomorrow now, I won't take into account Victory's business or Adora's business, right? Because they didn't come at the time where Grace, Chuku, Precious, and Joshua were sharing their own businesses to me. Does it make sense now? Right? Good. So you talk to people one-on-one. In one-on-one situations, you can get some really very honest feedback. Oh boy, that marketing video for me last week, it don't work. I just waste 50K to do marketing. Nobody can buy anything, right? But if he's talking to you in a group or in a general class, he may just say, sir, there's a problem. I don't think it's working. He will quote it. But on a face-to-face, one-on-one, say, I won't do business with you again, no, until you solve A, B, C, X, Y, Z, right? And then we then have questionnaires. And questionnaires can come in two different ways. Questionnaires could be online or it could be offline, right? It could either be offline or online, dependent on the demography you are trying to reach and depending on which generation you were born in, right? I'm looking at the people on the corner, they with their faces. Some of you may never have filled a paper questionnaire before in your life. In fact, some of you may not even know that people actually used to write questionnaires on paper and give people to tick and to fill, which is not a bad thing, right? It simply tells me when you were born, and it simply tells me what technology was available when you were born, right? So, for example, for now, we have mobile phones. Everybody has a mobile phone. But when I was growing up, we used to have landlines, and we will have to answer the call on behalf of the call recipients, take some messages on their behalf, and go and deliver the message, or go and tell them the date that you should come and the date and time they should come and sit down and wait for a phone call. Right? But right now, if I'm trying to reach you, one call, two call, and you're not picking on your normal line, I call you on WhatsApp. If you're not picking, I drop you a WhatsApp message. Times are different. So also is how you administer questionnaires. You can either administer a questionnaire online, Google form, type form, or Tally, whatever platform you choose to use to answer your questionnaire, or offline, which you print on paper, you prepare it on Microsoft Word, print on paper, and give it to them. So if you are going to put someone in the rural environment to fill a questionnaire for you, it does not make any sense to put on Google form. Except you want to carry a device there and be with them and be punching it by yourself. Preparing a Google form for a rural farmer, my brother, you are very ambitious, right? But a simple barrier and paper form, you go to them. The ones that can read, feed themselves. The one that cannot read, you just read for them and tick it on the boxes. The next thing you have to also look at is what we call focus group discussion. Right? Well, that's network. We're seeing Nigeria. Network is not all perfect, Joshua. So, what focus group discussion simply means is, and I'll give you a good example, a good case in point. Let's say, for example, someone bakes, right? And it choose to bake a new recipe and share to all the roommates to eat, or the hostel mate to eat. But when they're done eating, they will tell you whether it was too sweet, if it was too hard, if it was soft enough, if it was burnt, if it was properly cooked. True of us. Right? That's a group discussion. Because they are both giving you feedback, but as a group. That's my method of testing. But in a formal setting, a group discussion involves you calling people who are experts in that thing into a particular room, right? And presenting them a set of questions and a set of hypotheses and having them give you their feedback based on those questions and hypotheses as thorough as is possible. And only those who are supposed to be in that room will be in the room. To be fair, Or like the analogy I gave of having a close friend or relative test your product, one truth you must know is that most times when family and friends are consuming your product, they cannot tell you the truth because you don't have the stomach to take the truth on. You understand? And their biggest dilemma will be, how do I tell this person the truth without becoming an enemy for life? So the few times I had attempted to sing when I was in the university, they just drew me aside and say, John, you're a good guy. You're a good guy, right? You know the word, you can preach the word, you can counsel people. But you see this singing, don't try them again, I beg. Don't go and confuse the Lord. Do you understand? Very honest feedback, right? So now I don't sing in any choir or sing in any gathering again. But if you meet me in my bedroom, I'll sing very well for you, right? In confined spaces. But how many of you are really, really ready to hear the blunt truth about your business that you're trying to do? Because if you are not seriously ready to hear hard truth about what you are trying to do, walking into a focus group discussion may not be the best for you, right? Because when you walk into focus group discussions, you expect to hear the things that are really important to moving your business forward. Chuku, go ahead with your question.
No, it's not a question, sir. You asked how many of us are ready to take feedback about our business.
Okay. It was a hypothetical question I asked. Right? Good. So the point is, focus groups usually deal with a small set of people, very small set. 5. Optimal focus group should not be more than 10. Because if you have more than 10 people who are highly opinionated on matters, giving you feedback, you too go tire, but they could tell you. Because the people who are still the most outspoken will overshadow everybody in the conversation, and they have the chance of, swaying people's opinion because they are more outspoken in that kind of conversation, right? The last one in how you converse with your customer is the general social media space. And for this one, once your business enters social media, is something else entirely. So one of the best advice I ever got or learned I ever underwent at any point in time in my life was the training that taught me that marketing kills a bad product faster. Do you understand? Marketing kills a bad product faster. Let's say, for example, you make jollof rice and jollof rice is terrible, and now only your roommates eat and if you tell you say this food not sweet, don't try them again, not cook them again on that day, right? Or I mean, try increase the amount of rice for this food because the amount of salt has the amount of rice right now. You understand? Then you can adjust until it is not safe for them to eat without cutting their intense time. But imagine you run a restaurant and you make social media posts for people to come and eat, and they all come to eat on the day of your restaurant opening, and the food is very terrible. What happened to your business? Your guess is as good as mine. Your business is going to die because everybody will tell everybody that care to know that eating in that place is the worst that ever happened in their life. But you see, it may have been a small seasoning mix-up going on that day. But because you now have a wider audience involved in evaluating that mix-up, now you now have a problem in your hands. So the things that eventually go to social media are the things that are absolutely ready to be shared with a wider audience. And you must be ready to hear that critical insight. Now, but in terms of customer segmentation, what you then do with social media is use that channel to mass market to the people that fits into your customer segments. Does it make sense? You can give me a thumbs up if it makes sense. If it doesn't, a thumbs down. If you have any question at this point around customer segmentation, kindly ask me. Questions? Do we have any question?
So I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, what if the people you are serving, they're actually not on social media, maybe the rural areas that don't have access to social media? What do you do then?
Okay. In what era were you born? Don't tell me your age, just tell me the era. Are you Gen Z or millennial?
Millennial.
Yeah, millennial, okay. So, have you ever heard Google Niche adverts before?
I didn't get that, sir.
Have you ever heard Google Niche adverts before?
Heard of what?
Google Niche before?
Bobo Niche. No, no, sir.
You're not millennial now. You could not have been millennial and never heard of Google Niche adverts.
Advert on television. I don't think I've heard it. But it's popular. It's popular, but I don't think I've heard of it.
And but you've heard Google Niche adverts before, Abi?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Yes.
Where did you hear it?
I think from word of mouth. I don't think I've heard on social media. I've not seen it.
I beg, who have heard the Google Niche adverts here? Can I hear it from you? I don't look like a person that I've heard Google Niche and Ginseng Root adverts. Or Boomline Cordia. You see how Adora and Prayer are smiling to Boomline Cordia and Google Niche and Ginseng Root advert? They've never seen it on TikTok before. Right? Google Niche is not on TikTok. Boomline Cordia is not on TikTok. What I'm trying to say is that there are other methods of mass marketing that is not social media. Right? Radio is a method of mass marketing. Town crying is a method of mass marketing, right? Door to door is a method of mass marketing. Billboards are a method of mass marketing. Posters are a method of mass marketing. Social media is only being used in this context because we are in the age of digital media, basically. So once you do your demographic analysis, right, and your customer segmentation analysis, and you realize that the people you are marketing to and not on the popular media to you at that point in time, you'd go and put your marketing in an environment that has those people. My room is just so bright. Sorry. Let me turn on some lights. Still terrible anyway. I don't think the bright light is affecting me. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So, now I'm uncomfortable. So the point here is that once you've understood your demography, you then begin to understand how you market to them. Because, for example, even in this digital marketing whole effort, how you market to people who are 50 upwards and those who are, 25 to 35 are different from how you market to those who are 25 below, right? So 25 below will most likely spend more of their time on TikTok and on Snapchat, right? Those who are 25 to 35 may spend more of their time on Instagram, on LinkedIn, right? Those who are 45 above spend their time on Facebook. That's where you get all the fake news. So you know where to find them, right? By their age demography when you're using the digital marketing channel to reach out to people, basically. So you adjust your marketing campaign and your reach out campaign to the demography you're trying to reach, basically. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Then if you are marketing to people who are 60 years above, please put it on WhatsApp DM. They will broadcast it to all their children. You will surely hear about your product after they block their parents. Okay, so the next thing we now need to do is what we call our market analysis. Right? I'm going to try and use these concentric cycles to try to explain to you what the market analysis is. Does anybody have an idea of what TAM means? Anybody? Don't worry, there's no wrong or right answer. We are all learning here. Good, yes, you're very correct. Total addressable market. Right? So your total addressable market refers to any and everybody that can potentially pay for your product. So for example, so Precious says she's running an e-commerce platform for smallholder farmers, right? So let's assume that we have 1 million smallholder farmers in the state or in the city, right? Your total addressable market will automatically become 1 million smallholder farmers, which means that these are people who, at any given point in time, can potentially purchase your service, right? But you see, why there are 1 million people at this point in time, Precious, can you set to 1 million people currently? Are you set to 1 million smallholder farmers currently today?
Yes, sir. Our platform has the capacity to accommodate up to 1 million smallholder farmers.
Or does it have 1 million smallholder farmers?
No, not yet, sir.
That's the point, right? So it has the capacity to hold 1 million smallholder farmers. Doesn't mean that you've got 1 million smallholder farmers in there, because the total number of farmers that may have even heard of your products are not up to maybe 200 people, for example. Right? I'm giving an example, right? So while there are 1 million smallholder farmers in that particular environment, the people you can reach, maybe with your advert, with your marketing, however means you have at that point in time, or can reach out to, are the people we now call the SAM. And what do we know as SAM? It's not Samuel, oh. So but what do we know as SAM? What's SAM? Anybody? Okay. SAM becomes what we call the serviceable addressable markets. Right? And The thing about SAM is that, oh, okay, there are a million smallholder farmers in Edo State, but you live in Benin City, or you live in Yokorion, right? Part of what's it called now? Of that Southwest, right? It's close to Oredo. It's like 30 minutes from Oredo. And in that community where you live or where you're marketing, there are 200,000 smallholder farmers in that community. And your current business operation cannot market beyond that community. So any and everybody that you can serve is within that environment. So out of the 1 million that is in the States, right, only 200,000 are very close to you. That represents how many percentage of the total addressable market?
That's 20%.
Bam. 20%. So it means that based on your current operation at that point in time, you can only service 20% of the smallholder farmers in that environment or in that particular location due to proximity. Maybe they have to walk to your shop, maybe they have to call you on phone, maybe you have to go and visit their spaces. You can only do for about 200,000 people that's within your vicinity. But you see, whilst you have 200,000 people within your vicinity, it doesn't mean that the 200,000 people will like your price or will like you enough to buy your product. So people will just say, the way that girl they behave, I don't like her, she's too proud. She want to carry body. Don't be poaching, she say, I beg you, I don't buy from her. People are like that. People are very emotional buyers. So people come to me and say, John, I mean, buy my this thing now, buy my perfume or buy my jewelry. I'm like, okay. Why exactly should I buy your jewelry or your perfume or whatever you have to sell? They'll be like, support my business now. I'm like, no, that's not how business works. For me to let go of my, hard-earned cash to patronize something you are trying to sell to me, that thing will have a value that I'm looking for. So the right thing to do in that scenario is to be able to market to me the value I get from buying that particular product from you, basically. And even after you've marketed the value to me, I still reserve the right to buy or not to buy. True of us. Right? So because I reserve the right to buy or not to buy from you, is why we now have what we now called sum. Right? And sum refers to serviceable, obtainable, market. Right? And this may be a group of people that know you, your friends, your church members, your family friends, somebody who happen to have your phone number saved on their phone and saw your WhatsApp status, right? Those people now become part of what we now call your serviceable obtainable market. The people that finally pays for your product. So let's assume finally you are able to get 3,000 people. 3,000 smallholder farmers to pay you to use what you have, right? That 3,000 farmers automatically have now become your what? Customers. These are your real clients. And this be your clients. Now this be your potential clients. Now this be the whole market. So one thing you must realize, no matter how good your business or service is, it is not even Dangote says, not everybody they chop Dangote salt, right? Some people will tell you, it's only an apuna we used to buy, or it's only golden penny we used to buy, right? Because for example, someone like me now, if Dangote made pasta because of me, it not go sell. Because I cannot pass the eye and see a golden penny and go and take a Dangote pasta. And that's because there's no Gino pasta in the market. Because I cannot pass a Gino pasta and go and buy golden penny. You get the point now. It's not because they are not both pasta, it's just because I have a preference. And my preference is totally controlled by me, not by you. So as long as I have a preference and I have the autonomy to act based on my preference, right? I exercise that preference the way I choose to, basically. And I'm not apologetic about it. So also it is for you. By the time your customers or your potential customers are done expressing their preference, they now fall into those who become your clients. So your sum, which is your serviceable obtainable market, are the people who finally are able to pay your price for that product. And you see, your sum or your term, sum, and sum is not different from how you calculate or narrow down your customer segment. Right? I'll bring it to you. Now, everybody that lives in the state are potentially your customer, true of us. Or everybody that is a smallholder farmer is potentially your customer, true of us. Right? Now, that is your term. Right? But you are not focused on smallholder farmers that operate in semi-rural environments, because geographically there's road access to where they operate from, right? And they produce the kind of items you want. A smallholder farmer may be producing good yams, but you only deal in maize. Will you go buy yam because you like the person? You get? So that has now defined your customer segments based on products, based on geographical location, right? Let's assume you're not biased. You don't say, no, I'm Yoruba, I'm only dealing with Yoruba people. Automatically, it reduces the amount of people that you can have as smallholder farmers to those who are just Yorubas, true of us. So as you begin to define that, you begin to go from term to your sum and then to your sum. No this and no peace. Everybody cannot be your customer. It's not possible. There's nothing like I sell for everybody. Even Dangote does not sell for everybody. But it sells to as many people as possible that want this product. Like it or not, people will say, give me Boa cement. Give me Lafarge cement. Even if they find Dangote cement in the store. So preferentially, your customers will always trickle down to you, and they will always trickle down to how you communicate the value they are trying to sell to them clearly enough. If what you're trying to say to your customers are not clear enough, they will not patronize you. Simple. If you like, put the bread inside a nylon made of gold. If I say I don't like gold, I don't go buy. If I'm allergic to gold, I don't go buy. True of us. I don't go say because say gold they shine, I can't go chop gold. I can't go die. Nobody will, well, nobody would, on a normal sense, want to do that because some people drink sniper, which is not a good thing, right? So just try to balance the analogy. But you realize that people who get to that point in life are not in the right frame of mind anymore. But people who are in the right frame of mind will not do something that would naturally put them in harm's way, right? Likewise, your customer with their money. A person will not just go and throw away money for no reason, right? Except they know that the value for which that money is going into is better than the money that they are holding in their hands. With these few points of mine, I hope I'll be able to convince you and not confuse you that if you really want to succeed in your business, you must define who your customer segment is. And having defined your customer segment across the lines of demography, geography, and psychography, right? Your messaging or your value point to them must be very clear. And once your value is very clear to them, the chances that they want to buy from you increases and becomes higher. Thank you. Do we have any questions? If you have any questions, please just kindly raise your hand so I can take your question. So there's this thing they say about teaching. It's either the teacher is good enough and you don't have questions, or it's bad enough but you don't have questions. So that, I don't know which one it is now. Is it that people manage to understand it themselves so far in the last 1 hour, 30 minutes, or I don't do captions? Let me know. Let me hear from you. Go ahead, Grace.
Okay. My question is, for instance, I had before now, I had like this mindset that, okay, my customers should be just poultry farmers, right? Then, and you mentioned about segmenting our customer segment, right? But now I got to think about it that, okay, I can also sell to, like, what I'm trying to build, I can also sell to all farmers, both those educated, because you mentioned class, and those that are not educated, like in terms of using maybe phones or having access to internet and all that. So I can make it like a hybrid form while selling to all farmers. So at this point, is it that maybe I'm confused, or I should just streamline it to the poultry I had in mind?
Yeah, always streamline at the beginning point. It does you a whole lot of good to streamline what you're trying to sell or communicate to people. It's also the reason why you have different product lines, right? A particular product line, so for example, people who buy LG don't know that people who buy Hisense are both buying from the same LG. Right? You ask me how. LG is the high-end for rich people line of products from LG company, Life is Good company. Hisense is the budget line of products from the same company. They just don't want to give it the same name so that people are not confused. So they now want you to know that if you are buying things that may not last, but can look like the very expensive one, buy Hisense. But if you have more money and you want to buy what will last, buy LG. The same company, two different marketing strategy. two different product lines, but each of them clearly understand who they are trying to sell to, right? So Hisense is not marketing for you, oh, art school, oh, we remove all the gems in the environment, we'll add value to your living room. Hisense just tells you, you want AC, Abi, you want AC, Abi, AC is cheap. You too can buy AC. Finish. Right? But LG will not do the adverts. You know, with our new triple filtration system, we take away germs and bring in fresh air. But lamba, na cool, I mean, not cool. You say cool, okay, and they go sleep. Right? But in doing that, they also not carefully ensure that they market it to who they want to sell to. So they can market the LG product on magazine, market it in big shows, environment where rich people will go to, right? And they can market Hisense in late night news on ITV and EBS, right? That you watch. But, well, sorry, rich people don't watch local station, they watch DSTV. So they'll put LG advert on DSTV. So that's how you also think through your customer segment. If you have 3 or 4 products, so for example, egg is one product, right? The meat from the fowl is another product. Feather is another product. The intestine, the gizzard, and the rest are another products. They have different customer segments. You can market egg to people that are baking, people that have children, that want to give them rich proteinous food, right? You market meat to restaurants. You market meat to families that want to have festival or family activities, right? You market feather to people who are making pillows or making chairs, right? Or making all those, what do they call them? All those things on the cap, if it's the right feather, right? Then you market intestine and those other things in the stomach to people who have ponds, fish ponds, right? How you market and package it to sell are different for each product. So for each product, you must define your customer segments and how you want to reach them. Meaning, do you
Thank
have
you,
any
sir.
more questions? Okay, so in the absence of any more questions, Ihedima, thank you for having me this morning. I pass the mic over to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. John. Guys, are we saying there's no more questions? So we understand clearly our market segment. So for people that have submitted their BMC, you can, if you have something extra to add as a result of the new knowledge you gained now, you go ahead and insert it in your BMC and resubmit. That BMC, we're going to continue improving on it until next week when we have something that is concrete. And if we notice, Mr. John was stressing on clarity. The assignment that we are submitting 8 p.m. today, that sentence, your offer statement is supposed to give you full clarity of your business. So from the knowledge we are gaining from him today, use it to write your offer statement so that in one sentence, in one brief sentence, somebody can see clearly what your offer is. Like he also pointed, I know there are so many things that we are doing, but the essence of this cohort is to create tech-based solutions to agriculture and food challenges. So please limit yourself to that I know you want to take over the world. I know you have big dreams, but we are only going to proceed with one dream. One dream, develop it in such a way that it becomes solid, so that at the end, when we are pitching one very solid idea that is investable. Then the other ideas you have, like we said, document all your ideas as they come. Pick one and develop it. Then you can now work on the other ideas later, but pick one that is the most viable. And that is what we are going to continue improving on as we proceed with this session. Thank you so much, Mr. John. We are very, very grateful for having you today with us. Please do not leave. Class continues Monday, Tuesday to Friday next week. You can join us on the virtual link, or you can come in person on our physical classes. Next physical class is Thursday and Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are here on the same link, 10 a.m. till 12. Please feel free to join. If there are changes in timing, we will notify you on the facilitators group. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. So right now, we are going to take a break. The second facilitator will be available by 11:30. Second facilitator will be available by 11:30. So between now, we have about 2 hours break. So go do your stuff, run your business, go back to class for people that are students. Attendance has been taken already. We have noted your attendance for people that are in the class. So attendance will also be taken for the second session. Remember that this is day 4 class that we just concluded. So day 5 class starts by 11:30. Do not miss it for anything. We have 2 hours, so hurry up with whatever we are doing and get back in class. Thank you so much, everybody. For people, you said you had people that have network issues, don't you worry. The class is being recorded. So the recording will be made available so you can go back and watch it. Is that all right? All right. Thank you, guys. See you at 11:30. Thank you, Mr. John. Bye. I think this phone, I think